Yeah.
But at least it wasn't. uh, Actually, what occurs to me that our connection here with our next movie is it's also part of a series of mid-action movies.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I finally got around to watching this, the Resident Evil, the original one from the 2000s.
Only took you 22 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Um, Now, again, like much like the our previous review, I only know a little bit about Resident Evil. Like I played a little bit of Resident Evil 2, both the original and the remake. I haven't really played any of the other games. I know a little bit about the lore, but from my understanding, is every character in this movie was not in the games. If I'm unless I'm wrong about that.
Was there a character named Jill Valentine?
No.
Okay. Then yeah, I think that they brought in more game characters later, but just
Yeah.
from what I've heard, this might be just a whole bunch of original characters.
Okay. Yeah. Which I kind of figured that. Yeah, because there's no Jill Valentine. No. The Redfields weren't in there. Um. Or Leon. Yeah. So none of them were there. Um. So the movie takes place in obviously it's in Raccoon City. It's in a facility, in an umbrella corporation building underneath Raccoon City called the Hive, and the T virus gets unleashed inside the facility, and of course, at the end of the movie, you find out who did it and why, which is kind of a bleh. um, but they so then the AI that's in control of the hive, called the Red Queen, basically locks the whole thing down, um, and it released a bunch of and during part of the lockdown is it released all this knockout gas, and there's a I guess the only way to get into this place is through this underground train, and it's underneath a mansion. And the mansion is guarded by these two umbrella agents. One of them's Milia Jovovich, and the other's this other guy. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
I
It
linked you
is
the IMDb earlier. If that helps.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, so I'll say I'm not the biggest Resident Evil guy myself, but just from hanging around fans over the years, I don't recognize a single one of these names. So I'm guessing all these characters who have like Dr. Blue, Ms. Black, Dr. Green, Ms. Gold, I'm guessing they're all totally original OCs.
Yeah, I'm guessing that too. Well, there's even a character in there who a guy who pretends to be a cop. And at first, I thought that was Chris Redfield, because Chris Redfield was a cop, or Leon Kennedy, but it wasn't. It's somebody completely different. Um,
Yeah, this was back in the days when every sort of video game and comic book adaptation would like, okay, we'll use your name, but we want nothing else from you.
yeah, yeah. So the other guy was his name was Spence, and what happens is when Alice and Spence get hit with the knockout gas, they lose their memories.
Okay.
And yeah, so
Let
they
me ask you a question. Is
yeah,
Spence sus?
yes,
Badumtish.
but yes,
You might say that he's keeping the audience in suspense.
yes.
All right, that
uh,
is the extent of my of my observations about this movie.
yes.
Since
Well,
Daniel
yeah,
watched it and I didn't.
yeah, yeah. So then this umbrella team shows up, and it's led by Colin Salmon, who's a British actor, playing a you know doing a convincing American accent. And so they this team umbrella team, they go into the hive so they can knock out the Red Queen, and or power down the Red Queen, and then get the facility back online. But then as soon as they do that, that's when they realize that everyone's infected with the T virus and they're all zombies. And then the rest of the movie is them trying to get out before it completely locks down.
Right. So much like our previous review of Godzilla X Kong New Empire, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Um, so you're not watching this one for the plot.
No,
So
you're not watching it for the plot. Yeah. Uh, yeah. The mystery kind of unfolds kind of piece by piece as Alice gets her memory back. And it's just kind of like, okay, yeah. You find out that she was working with a woman who was the sister of the guy pretending to be a cop, and which again, like, okay, were they supposed to be the Redfield siblings at one point, and then they just changed their names? Or I don't know.
well, yeah, was it a rights thing?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe Capcom said like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll let you do all this, but we don't want you using any of our characters.
Right, maybe they looked at the script and they said, "We're too far along to do another script, but you're not allowed to name any of these characters after our characters."
Yeah. Yeah, and what was I gonna? I was gonna say something else about it, but yeah, it's. I mean, it's not the. This isn't the worst video game adaptation movie, but it's not the best one either. Um,
So imagine you had no expectations for the video game. So just as a schlocky zombie action flick, how does it work out?
it's okay. I think it. Um, the there for me there wasn't really a whole lot of tension. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, like you kind of you knew that. I mean, they're only going to be like, it was probably it actually ended up being the typical horror movie where you had just the final girl at the end, the
Okay.
which is Mila Jovovich. And it's, I mean, it's decent enough. I thought it could have been a little more action packed, but they were probably uh, handicapped by the technology of the time, or maybe hamstrung by the budget.
Right, which in 2002 had a $35 million budget.
This is pretty. I mean, not huge, but definitely expensive enough that they probably didn't want to do too much. And I will say too, the CGI is very dated. I mean, that's what it got me. The CGI looked really bad, and I'm like, okay, this movie came out the same year as The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Oof.
It's like, although Lord of the Rings had a much bigger budget than this movie, um, but yeah, I mean, it's I don't to me, I don't think this movie was good enough to spawn what, like, 5 or 6 sequels. However many movies are in this series.
Yeah, it's here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven of these movies have gotten a domestic or a box office release.
Yeah, just
Although Welcome
unless
to
it,
Raccoon City, based on this series directly, or was that
yeah.
an attempted reboot?
Well, I think Welcome to Raccoon City was a reboot, because if I remember that one right, that one actually did have a lot of the characters from the
Yes,
game.
it does. Okay,
Yeah,
that's right. So I'm guessing that the final chapter is the last one with Miss Jovovich.
yeah. Well, and the movie was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who of course did Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, and what else did he? Event Horizon was in that one's probably his best movie. Um,
Right. These are just kind of schlocky paycheck movies where it's like, now was he married to Mila when the movies started, or did they develop the thing over time?
probably developed it over time. I don't know. I don't think they were married when they first started working on the series. Because I will say, Mila Jovovich has a bit of a history of hooking up with the directors of movies she's been in, because she was in a relationship with Luc Besson for a little while.
Oof.
Yeah, they did The Fifth Element together. So
That's right. I forgot she was in that.
yeah, she was Lilu.
Yes, multipass.
Multipass. Little Dallas Multipass.
Directors are her multipass. Anyway,
Yes.
um, so yeah, so would you say if you're just in the mood for turning your brain off, recommend go find something else?
I mean, yeah, you'll be reasonably entertained for an hour and a half. So yeah, I mean, it's on. If you want to give it a watch, it's on Netflix until the 31st. So that's kind of another reason I wanted to watch it, because I knew it was leaving Netflix soon. So yeah, yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't uh, waste my money and time seeing it in the theater when it came out back in 2002.
Yeah, though back in 2002, you might have been young and impressionable enough to have a better time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. I was. Well, yeah, I was 17. Yeah, probably.